Headlines, highlights, the questions burning up the sports world get answered right here. This isn't just another recap, it's the sports answer. And leading the charge, sharp, fearless, and always bringing the edge, your host, Rudy Campos Jr. If you're talking sports, you better have the sports answer.
Good Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, whatever time you're watching the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV on YouTube. It's Rudy Campos Jr. We're coming to you again with the Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. For you businesses out there that want to get the edge, that want to get to the front of the line, you contact Salem Surround today, 210-526-3635. You see that QR code up there? Scanning with your phone takes you right to the website, www.salemsurround.com's/San Antonio. They're going to take care of your business. They're going to put you right at the front of everybody else. They're going to do digital marketing. They're going to just basically brand your business to make it the most notable business out there. Salem Surround, 210-526-3635, proud sponsors of the Sports Answer. And what do we got? We got a loaded show because we're closing the year on 2025. When you see us again on the Sports Answer, it's going to be 2026. So at the end of the show, we're going to say, see you next year, as the joke kind of tends to go. But we've got a lot today. We've got CFP. The bracket continues this week on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. NFL playoffs are heating up. We've only got two teams left to make it into the playoffs. A lot of other teams already secured their spot. How does this look for free agency? There's a big free agency class. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. Can we rewrite history? That's hard to say very fast. We're going to attempt to right now. We're going to kind of dive into that wormhole here on the Sports Answer. And, of course, your Spurs Cheeseman and Week 17 NFL picks are at the end of the show. Who do we have on with us again today? We've got Grading the Market's own Jacob Canziano, because I always get crap for that. From Grading the Market, you can catch Grading the Market on Box Score Studio TV with Jacob and Elias. For your sports cards needs, man. Jacob, welcome back to the Sports Answer.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me back, Rudy.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. We got a loaded show today. We've got NFL free agency because you've seen teams like your Chargers. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, but they could add a whole lot more in the offseason. The darlings of the NFL over the past few years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes went down, but they've got a lot to add. You may see players like Max Crosby, who was just thrown on the injured reserve list and was not very happy about it. You know, could he be on the move in the offseason? Myles Garrett, you're just going to try to get something for Myles Garrett. It's just a massive free agency class. It's a massive trade off-season trade scenarios that we can go into a whole lot here. Plus, you've got somewhat of a loaded NFL draft coming up. I think this offseason is going to be tremendous in NFL. We're going to get into that here in just a little bit, man. But first and foremost, the bracket starts this week. And as you can see, everybody can tell, you've got Indiana, Alabama. That's going to be probably my game of the week right there. Texas Tech, Oregon, Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, Ole Miss. And bracket continues this week, man. It's going to be fun. By the time it's all said and done, we're going to have our Final Four. Let me just get your picks right away. We're not even going to waste any time. Indiana, Alabama, you know, you're talking about the Rose Bowl here. How do you feel? Where do you think this game goes? Who do you have as winning that one?
Well, first off, I'm just going to go ahead and say, Rudy, that, hey, this quarterfinals round was the one that we kind of been waiting for, man, that excited about. Get all of the smaller, you know, no disrespect to the other teams, but kind of just get them out of the way and stuff like that. It's definitely is going to be fun. Like you said, it kicks off New Year's Eve, and then everything goes on the first. Which one do you want to do first?
I'm giving you the Indiana-Alabama game, the hard one, because I think that's the game of the week. And you're right. You talked about the lower end teams, and I still see it on social media. They're talking, these guys don't belong in the bracket. You got to give me a break, man. Give me a break. You knew the rules. You knew the scenarios coming in. You knew some of these teams are going to get in. You got to stop complaining. You really do. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Indiana and Alabama.
Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and say I'm a big Auburn fan, right? So I do keep an eye on Alabama.
Yeah.
And that team is always, it's just like a bad penny. They always pop up. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. With that being said, every week I like to go out on a limb and make like one just like really out there pick.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with Alabama this week, man.
You are taking the Crimson Tide. An Auburn guy takes a that's like me being a North Carolina guy taking Duke. It just hurts my heart, man. It hurts my heart.
I'm gonna do it this one week. I don't know. I just have a feeling,
You're taking Bama. Okay, so I've been on the Indiana hype train for a few years now. Coach Gio, who is a part of our other programming, he's been a part of Indiana, football for a while now since Kurt Signetti took over the reins there. I'm sticking with him. I have Indiana winning the national championship. There's no reason why I should not take them. I'm taking Indiana over Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Checking off the next game, man. Now you're going two? I believe it's the Orange Bowl here. Oregon, Texas Tech. This is one of the closer games I think we're going to see in all four of the matchups. Texas Tech coming off a magical season. Oregon just always seems to be there at the end. Dante Moore, playing fantastic. Who do you got in Texas Tech, Oregon?
Texas Tech has been looking nice, man. I'm gonna keep going with them. Texas Tech
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Texas Tech. I've got Indiana Texas Tech meeting in the Final Four there in the Peach Bowl. I like Texas Tech, man. They've been good all year. They've had a hiccup here or there, but they've been able to overcome. I love the defense, and I think going into that Final Four, Indiana and Texas Tech, it's going to be a battle of some of the best defenses in the country. Ohio State and Miami over at the Cotton Bowl. Miami's one of those teams, man. Hey, Notre Dame should have got in over Miami. Miami shouldn't have been there. I totally agree 100%. Miami should not have been there, but you have to have an ACC representative. So I don't like that fact. Miami's just not a really good team. They ended up beating Texas A&M, but more than anything, I think Texas A&M beat themselves in that game. Who do you have, Ohio State and Miami?
I completely agree with everything you just said about Miami. With that being said, I'm rolling with Ohio State.
Yeah, man. Julian's saying I'm rolling with Ohio State. There's a reason why they're the second best team in the country. I think Miami's dream CFP run just comes to an end. Finally, Georgia, Ole Miss. Oh, let me set a scenario for you. Lane Kiffin leaves, goes to LSU, leaves Ole Miss high and dry into the CFP. You and I have kind of mentioned it. What if this is that Cinderella story, that Gonzaga story in the March Madness from back in the day where they get to the championship against Duke? You've seen the rise of Valpo and a lot of these other teams in March Madness. Could it be another, thinking about, the Akron over Michigan, in that one college football game? Ole Miss is on a mission, but could they beat Georgia?
They definitely do have a chip on their shoulder, man. I'm pretty sure there's probably written up on the whiteboard back in the room. You know what I mean? But Georgia, to me, I've been rolling with them all year. To me, I think that is a team that is just a powerhouse. I'm going to roll with Georgia.
Yeah, I love Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback for Ole Miss. I think he played. I think this game, if I say where I said Indiana, Alabama was the game of the week for me, I think this is the game that I'm more excited to watch is Georgia and Ole Miss. If there's an upset brewing, it's the Georgia Ole Miss game. I could sit back on my couch and say, you know what, Ole Miss is winning. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised.
It's like I said, Rudy. You know what I mean? We're excited about this week and stuff like that. Can you imagine how excited we're going to be next week?
Man. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy when we get to the Final Four. I'm going to take Georgia just because, again, my bracket that I did, on before the bracket, the challenge even happened here. I took Georgia. I had Ole Miss against Georgia. It wouldn't surprise me if the upset happens, but give me Georgia. Those are our picks for the week. I've got Indiana. Jacob's got Alabama. We both got Texas Tech. We both have Ohio State. We both have Georgia. Moving on. We'll be sure to bring you more coverage of the CFP as it comes around throughout the week. Well, next weekend, we'll have our Final Four. We're getting into more coverage on that. But where you go from college football, we go to NFL football. And, man, it's crazy because you go from NFL to college. Sorry, you go from NFL to CFP. CFP is warming up, and then you go NFL is even getting hotter. Why? Because you've got the playoff. You got the playoff scenario here.
Yeah.
All the teams pretty much have clinched. I mean, with the exception of the AFC North, which is between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Pittsburgh wins today. They clinched the AFC North, and the other division is the NFC South, where you have Carolina and Tampa Bay. That one, Carolina is up on a game on Tampa Bay. Carolina wins today, pretty much solidifies that NFC South. But everything else, you've got three teams out of the NFC West. You've got Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles. AFC North, you've got the Bears, you've got the Packers, and then of course you got the Eagles in the NFC. AFC, you've got New England, Buffalo. Again, working on the North. You've got Jacksonville, Houston, who clinched yesterday with that win over your Chargers. Your Chargers did get in with Denver, and then of course, you like I said, you mentioned about Pittsburgh and Baltimore. This is shaping up to be a really good, I guess, NFL playoff scene. And I took the Rams to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I had them against either Houston or Kansas City. Kansas City just faltered. I mean, it's a terrible year for Kansas City. Houston is in there. I think Houston in the AFC is making a push. It's making a run to being that top team in the AFC. If you look at the AFC going into this playoff, is there one team that you've got where you're like, okay, this is going to be my Super Bowl pick? And I think for me, just to throw it out there, I like Denver. I like New England, but then you kind of got to go, okay, is Denver ready? The defense is. You've seen Bo Nix be Bo Nix. They've got a potential. Then you've got New England with Drake May. I think New England is the absolute 100% all around well-oiled team right now, but we haven't seen Drake May in the playoffs. And that's where I kind of get a little scared. Is it too big of a stage for him? But is there one team in the AFC that you feel may have that opportunity to get to the Super Bowl?
Now, I think you touched on it. Denver is looking pretty good, like you said, with Bo Nix and stuff like that. And then there's also something else is like you mentioned, they're really good on defense and stuff like that. Bo Nix, he's not maxed out, so they're able to spend a lot of those resources and surround him and stuff like that on both sides of the ball. We've seen this before. We saw it happen with Kansas City. We've seen it happen with other teams. But like I like the way you touched on this, playoffs are shaping up to be really exciting, and I think it's because we're not seeing some of the usual faces there. You mentioned Kansas City's not going to be there. I believe Detroit is not going to be there. So it brings a whole bunch, allows other teams to go ahead and come in, and it got us people scratching their head or just piquing more interest. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. Can't wait for it to all start.
The Bears winning, NFC North champions. I don't think I know I didn't have them. I actually had them as the third best team in that division, and lo and behold, they're number one. It's funny because I got asked about Caleb Williams. I've not been a big Caleb Williams fan in college, and he was in a draft in the NFL. And I got told, hey, you're wrong about Caleb Williams. And I said, am I wrong about Caleb Williams? Or is it Ben Johnson, who's one of the best minds in the offensive side of the ball, putting Caleb Williams in the perfect scenario on each snap? Made him think. I mean, I give Caleb Williams credit. He's the quarterback. He leads them. But I think it's more Ben Johnson than anything else.
Hey, but real quick question for you, Rudy. Yeah. And I just wanted to touch on it because you brought it up. If I would have told you at the very beginning of the season, hey, the Chiefs aren't going to be there at the playoffs, man, what would you have told me?
I think I would have, in the playoffs, I would have said you're probably crazy. I mean, you can't ever bet against Mahomes' magic, but it's just so crazy to think that, and it's not even crazy, man. I think you started to see the fall of the Chiefs even during the Super Bowl run last year. I mean, their defense was their anchor. Mahomes didn't have such a great year. I mean, they're just missing pieces all around. I think it starts with the offensive line. They're going to have to do something with the offensive line. They're going to have to revamp that defense. They're going to have to get Mahomes a receiver that's actually going to be that guy. And that's kind of funny because we're bringing up the NFL free agency here. This is a small list of like 40, 50 players that are going to be available that are going to be instant makers for other teams. Now, going into the offseason, the Chiefs being one of them, so many teams are going to have opportunities through the draft, a loaded NFL draft class, opportunities through trades, Max Crosby, Miles Garrett, other guys that are going to be involved in trades more than likely, plus the free agency list. I mean, take the Chiefs, for example. You have Tyler Linderbaum out there for the Ravens, Braden Smith of the Colts. If these guys don't get re signed by their own teams, I mean, the Chiefs can ultimately build another Super Bowl contender. Do you think this is going to be the most active NFL offseason we've seen probably in forever?
It could very well could be. And you know what? Bringing it a little bit closer to home, for y'all Cowboy fans and stuff like that. I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing on the offseason. I want to go defense, 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 whatever it is. You know what I mean? But just is that going to happen? We don't know. The Joneses, they're notorious for being offensive side of the ball all the way and stuff like that. But for all my Cowboy fans out there, and y'all know that I'm not a Cowboy fan, but hey, I'm going to back y'all up and stuff like that. I'm going to say I 100% just hope whatever it is that y'all do, that the Cowboys do, that they stick to the defensive side of the ball, because offense is good, but their defense is really struggling this year.
Where it's gonna be interesting to see is because George Pickens has had a massively good year. His free agency market's gonna be sky high. Hello, Kansas City. I mean, you give Patrick Mahomes an explosive wide receiver in George Pickens, that does make a difference. You need, the Cowboys are probably gonna let Javonte Williams go. I mean, they're probably not going to be able to re-sign him because again, he had another great season for the Cowboys. What's the option there for the Cowboys? They could lose some offensive weapons, and it's all natural. I mean, you're going to have to figure something out. But again, free agency class 2026, it's going to be massive, massive, massive. It's Rudy Campos Jr. It's Jacob Canziano. He's part of grading the market. Be sure to go to Salem Surround 210-526-3635. They're not going to leave you in free agency. They're going to sign you to the biggest contract in brand history. It's 210-526-3635. Salem Surround, proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV. Before we go to our commercial break, man, we're going to hit on something. Can we rewrite history, Jacob? Is it possible? This has been brought up, go back in the day, the Armando Galarraga, Jim Joyce, let me set the stage. Armando Galarraga had a perfect game going, was able to get a ground out, throw to first, and they called the runner safe. Jim Joyce did. And that's the thing, is that Jim Joyce called him safe. End of the perfect game. Done. Dunzo. Next day, Jim Joyce meets Galarraga at home plate. Jim Joyce apologized. It was a missed call. It happens. It's human error. People want them to go back and say, you know what? Give him his perfect game. He deserves it. Do you think he deserves that perfect game? Do you think we should rewrite history? Should MLB do the right thing?
Oh man. Well, you know what? This subject kind of like touches both of yours and my heart, because hey, we're baseball fans and stuff like that. Perfect game. It's only happened with 24 times in MLB history. 24 times. So he had it. His name was about to be written down as number 25. But yeah, you know what? I'm okay with it just standing the way it is. Just because of how the rules, how they were set, like at the time. Now, if it would have happened, I don't think something like this would ever happen again because of instant replay. As a matter of fact, instant replay was actually kind of brought in afterwards because of this situation and stuff like that. But yeah, the rules were the rules at the time, man. I'm good with it. It's heartbreaking to see. It's an interesting story. If you get the chance, go and check it out. Jim Joyce, it was just devastated after the game. You know what I mean? I think that they said the first thing when the game ended, when he came off the field, was he asked another official, "Did I get it right?" And they told Jim, he was like, "You didn't." And he was like, "Man," but he honestly thought that he was right at the time. But it's an interesting story. If you ever get the chance, go and read up on it. Jim Joyce actually did come out and say that like 3 or 4 days later, he did contact the MLB front office, and he was like, look, what I'm about to do, I don't even know if it's appropriate and stuff like that. But he was like, look, other than retiring or quitting, I will do whatever you want me to do. He was like, suspend me, go ahead, but just give this kid that perfect game. Go ahead and reverse that call. But MLB is like, no, yeah, rules were rules. Move it
Rules are
along, move
rules.
it along, man.
Yeah, rules are rules, and I bring it up too because the interesting conversation was you've I think it was Monmouth University. They had a group
Yeah,
of kids who basically petitioned for MLB to give him his perfect game back. They didn't. MLB didn't do it. They're not going to do it, and it brings you up to rewrite history because if you do that, then you have to look at other things. I mean, we mentioned for the San Antonio Spurs, 0.4 with Derek Fisher. There's no opportunity. There's no way you can catch an inbound pass, turn and face the basket, do a fadeaway and let it go in 0.4 seconds. You have to rewrite history for this. You've got to rewrite history for this. It changes so
exactly.
much. The only difference in this here, and this is the reason why I say MLB should give it to him, it didn't change the outcome of the game. They were going to lose anyway. I mean, Detroit was going to win anyway. So it didn't really matter. He ended up getting the next guy out, and it was like, come on, man. I mean, there was no repercussions for this game had you just given the guy his perfect game. But we brought that up. Why? Because
And,
it was. Go ahead.
and you know what? You know what? And even when he's speaking about the story, um, yeah, you could tell that he's a little bit heartbroken, but people tend to forget that that very next batter, he got out as well. So he had pretty much a perfect game, 28 outs. 28 came up, 28 sat down. That is something that probably is never going to happen again. And he'll be able to say he's the only one to do that.
Yeah, it was a remarkable story, and we can talk more about it more and more, and bring up other stuff too. But yeah, remarkable story between Armando Galarraga and Jim Joyce. Human error is a part of everyday life, and that's just what happens. That's the way the cookie crumbles. We got to get to our first commercial break. When we get back, we'll do a really quick Spurs Cheeseman. We'll get into our NFL Week 17 picks, and then we're done here at the Sports Answer. It's Jacob Canziano, Rudy Campos Jr. Be sure to go to Salem Surround 210-526-3635 or click that QR code at Salem Surround. It is a Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV.
In San Antonio, your business deserves more than noise. It deserves to be seen. SEO, social media, digital ads. If you're not showing up, you're losing customers. At Salem Surround San Antonio, we design digital strategies that work, from web design and SEO to social, podcast, and display ads. Real tools. Real results. Let's amplify your brand. Start today with a free digital presence evaluation. Salem Surround San Antonio, your brand, everywhere it matters.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs, this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
All right, that's Spurs Cheeseman again. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Thank you, Spurs Cheeseman girl. So Spurs Cheeseman quickly. Last night the Spurs lost 127-14. First loss in 9 games. They were eight game winning streak, not including the NBA Cup, finals or whatever. That didn't count. Lost to the Jazz 127-114. I saw Spurs fans freaking out, obviously on social media and contemplating the Mitch Johnson hiring again, Mitch's rotations, yada yada yada. Look, let me break it down before you real quick, and we're gonna move on because I got something to ask Eric or Jacob here in a little bit here. The Jazz shot 54% from the field. They shot 46% from three-point range. They could not miss. When a team shoots, darn well, 51% from the field overall, you're just not going to win a lot of those games. TJ Ford said it last night. They are hot, and if they're shooting that well, chances are you're not going to win that game. He said that at halftime. The Jazz continued a very hot streak. They were just on fire, man. No doubt about that.
Hey,
So go ahead.
They were their first quarter. We started off good, and then it just simply seemed like Spurs had a lid on the bucket, and the Jazz bucket just
Mhm.
expanded and stuff like that. But yeah, turned into a horrible shooting night for us. They were hot, like you said. When you put those two things together, that recipe, it's gonna be a loss. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
things like this are gonna happen, and it's not just gonna happen to the Spurs. Things like this happen to every team in the NBA. You have nights like that where there's just nothing will go down. I think they were 10 for 44 or something like that from
Yeah,
the 3 point and stuff.
23%. Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out to be bad, man. But I wish they would have attacked the basket a little bit more. But yeah. Hey, don't get too down. Things like this happen. Like I said, not just to us. They happen to every single NBA team. And it's
Could
probably
be
not going to be the last.
could be Oklahoma City and freaking out, their fans freaking out because they can't beat the Spurs. But I bring that up because of this. Over the last 12 games, not including the Jazz game from last night, 10-2, best in the NBA, first in NBA defensive rebounding percentage, first in opponent second chance points, second in NBA opponent points off turnover, third NBA net rating. Now, you and I talked about this a few weeks back. Could the Spurs, once full healthy, be the best defensive team in the league? Give me a quick answer. Does that still hold fruition for you? I mean, because to me, I think it does.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and especially I remember exactly when you brought that up, and we said, hey, perimeter defense looks pretty good, and when you have somebody 7'4" right behind you too, that helps out a big time, man.
Yeah, it is, and I think you're starting to see it now. They're a fully healthy team. When they're fully healthy, they are very difficult to beat. Again, against the Jazz, no De'Aaron Fox. He was out. So again, you don't have a fully healthy roster when De'Aaron Fox is out. But nonetheless, when they are healthy, you saw the damage this team can do. Next week, we'll probably get into, hey, what are the Spurs going to do as far as moving forward? Because there's a player who keeps getting DNPs that was a fan favorite for the Spurs. But I think there's a little bit more into that. We're going to get into that next week here on the Sports Answer. That'll be our burning sports question. We're almost out of time here. We got to go into our week 17 NFL picks. A bunch of the games already happened. I mean, they decided to do some Christmas Day games and some Saturday games. So you already know the first 5 games have already been decided. We've got Seahawks and Panthers. Panthers got to win to keep that division lead. Do they beat the Seahawks, Jacob?
Give me Seattle. I'm still rolling with them.
Taking Seattle, and it's crazy because Seattle is still atop the NFC West, but Niners and the Rams technically still are in there in the mix there. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Seattle as well. I think Carolina might win it, but I'm gonna go with Seattle. Bengals and Cardinals.
Put me down for the Bengals.
I'll take the Bengals as well. Steelers needing this victory to clinch the division and the playoff spot, and the Browns.
Oh, Steelers.
Taking the Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers as well. Jaguars and Colts. A very big game for Jacksonville. Trying to keep that lead over Houston in the AFC South. Who do you got, Jacksonville or Indianapolis?
I'm going to roll with the Jaguars.
You think Trevor Lawrence has another big game like he did last week? I mean, he had a big-time game.
You know what? He's been looking pretty good recently, man. That's something to keep an eye on. And, a lot of people are talking about him. Hey, keep an eye on that kid, man. At the very beginning, it kind of looked like, I don't want to say it looks like he was going to be a bust, but everybody's like, oh, maybe he's not going to be as good as everybody thought he would. Well, all of a sudden, that thing turned around, man. So see what happens. I don't know if it's just because they surrounded him with things that he needed, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, him and Travis Etienne have kicked it up a notch. I said this was their make or break year for Etienne and Lawrence. They're really making it this year. They're in the playoffs. Give me Jacksonville over Indianapolis, Bucks and Dolphins.
Ooh, I'll take the Bucks.
I'll take the Bucks as well. New England and the Jets.
New England.
Give me the Patriots. Now the Saints and the Titans.
Ugh.
Can't be that bad.
You know what? I'll go with the Titans on this one.
Going with the upset. I'm going to take the Saints on this one. Giants and Raiders.
Now this is a bad one. Talk about yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna roll with the Giants.
I'll take the Giants. Eagles and Bills on a Sunday night or a Sunday late afternoon matchup.
I'm gonna roll with the Bills.
I like the Bills at home. Give me the Bills. I'll take the Bears and the Niners game next.
That's a really good one, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
Bears. I'm going to take the Niners in this
All
one. Monday Night Football, the Rams and the Falcons.
I'm rolling with the Rams.
Yeah, I can't take the Falcons. Their season's been done for a while. Give me the Rams, man. Those are our NFL Week 17 picks. As you can see, we do it every single week. We bring you you ask us the burning sports questions. We give you the sports answers. It's Jacob. It's Rudy Campos Jr. here on the Sports Answer, powered by Salem Surround 210-526-3635. You want to catch us every single Sunday on Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button where you get all of our sports content. For Jacob, it's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we answer all your burning sports questions, this is a Sports Answer. We will see you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. Today's show was brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, helping local businesses grow with digital strategies that work. Visit salemsurround.com/San Antonio to learn more. We'll see you next time on the Sports Answer.